All right. So I am Sheena, and we are with GRS Community Impact, and I'm here with my co host, Jamie Miller. And today we are with the Noon Exchange Club of Garland, and we have Javier Solis with us, who is the president, and Stephen Stanley, who is also with the nonprofit. So we're going to just welcome them and learn a little bit about the Exchange Club of Garland, what they're doing, and two huge events. They have a huge Labor Day parade that companies can get involved in, as well as a children's Christmas party they hold at the Colwell Center with Garland ISD kids, and it's phenomenal. So welcome.
Well, thank you. Well, let me tell you about the Exchange. We're probably the largest nonprofit in the Garland area. We're presently, I think, 37 members and growing. Been around since 1982.
Okay.
I've been a member since 2000. Jamie was actually one of our original presidents way back when.
My membership was in the 1980s. We won't go back all the way.
The 1900s.
It was a while ago.
Right after I graduated high school.
But we have our programs of service that Steve will go over. We stay true to that, and then we'll cover our big events through the year.
Perfect.
And I'm Stephen Stanley. I'm the immediate past president, and come August 23rd, I'll be the president-elect for our Texas district, for our whole state of Texas exchange district. But like Javier was saying, we have four pillars for what exchange clubs do, and Exchange Club is a national organization that's over 100 years old, of which, like we said, we're members of. But the four pillars are Americanism, youth programs, child abuse prevention, and Americanism.
Community service.
Community service, excuse me. I already did community service. When you, like for our upcoming parade, you'll see we put out 150 flags from the beginning of the parade all the way into downtown Garland. Flag Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Labor Day. You'll see people will reach out and say, "Hey, can you put some flags out at our facilities?" The VFW, we put out 60 flags there at the Garland VFW every year. We have in the Americanism component, we do a flag retirement program that, if anybody has a flag that I think most folks know that there's a basic format to actually retire a flag, not just throw it in the trash. That we'll collect these flags, and we participate with Rowlett High School's ROTC and a Boy Scout troop, and do a flag retirement with the city of Rowlett. We just started that this last year, so we do a lot of great things in the community, and we may be one of the the best known large volunteer groups, organizations in the city.
We do a lot with the school district under Americanism. Probably half a dozen plus schools, we display flags for Veterans Day and Memorial Day. If they have to have a program going on, we also give them information on that. In addition to what we do with the city, we're always displaying flags with the city. The other pillar is youth programs, and that's kind of what drew me into the program when I was working with the school district. Is we mentor. We have our youth. We'll go through some of these programs, but our youth programs, our Youth of the Month programs. We do a lot of scholarship and donations to the school district that actually kind of drives our club. And so our focus is, we just had a presenter today talk about how to get involved as mentors. We're going to adopt a school. We don't know which one. We don't know what that's going to look like, but we're going to adopt an elementary school and take it on all the way from what it looks like outside to providing student supplies to supporting the teachers. So that was one of the initiatives today.
That's incredible.
And one of our national programs that basically comes down through national is our Youth of the Month program, and luckily we having 7 high schools. Once school typically starting in September, we'll have 2 students that staff will recommend to us and send. And we actually this last year, and this was Javier's idea, and it worked out tremendously well because it gives us a chance to accentuate what happens at the Gilbert Reed Tech Center. But because they have a culinary program, and so we will have our lunches there, and we'll bring in 2 students we'll have a national theme for an essay, and they come in and do their essays. Our winner this last year, we didn't know it at the time, but the team that was working for the youth of the month, they had already picked who the winner was going to be, and that young lady from Garland High School, and come to find out, she ended up being the valedictorian with a 5.02 GPA.
5.20 was it?
Yeah.
It was a lot higher than mine.
Yeah.
That's
If
all
you
right.
added ours up and multiplied it by 2,
we might get up there.
Yeah.
But she was a great young lady. But we started having those meetings there. But typically we'll have our lunches and stuff at one of our local restaurants to where we can invite guest speakers.
It was a great deal because the students are getting trained in culinary. So I call it teams. Our youth team of 5 people would select the menu. Then the kids prepared it. So in the first time, I call him Chef Alex, actually told us what they're going to have. I said, no, that's not. So I give the mic to the kids, and they'll introduce themselves. I'm so-and-so from Rowlett High School. I'm in the I have prepared a certain meal. And they just went into this elaborate description of what they prepared. And then they passed the mic. And then, they served this. And it was really a neat deal. That program just accentuates how awesome, how strong Garland ISD is. We get our winners, and then we go on to the state level. I think 5-6 years in a row, we've had the state winner from Garland ISD.
Oh, wow.
This last year, we also offer a scholarship for an at-risk kid called the ACE Award. So this year we had the ACE winner. I did ask, how come we didn't get the youth years, because we can't give it to you every year. So we always have a kid go to state, represent our club. They get additional scholarship money. We allocate $8,500 for these scholarships, and so the kids get to use it. And then again, an additional $3,000, I think, from the state level.
Well, this year it was $5,000 for both ACE and for the youth of the month.
$5,000 each. So,
and then one of the other things that Javier had suggested, and we started doing this year, is when we're doing our student of the month there at the GRCTC, we do an unsung hero, because there's a lot of chambers of commerces and stuff. They'll do teachers of the month and all, but what about the rest of the staff? Because Jamie, you know better than anybody how many staff members, 7,500, 8,000 staff members, but there's a standout in transportation or maintenance or something, and we've had some tremendous people come.
We went through the 7 departments of nutritional services, transportation, security, facilities, maintenance. I'm missing one. And those directors went down through their hierarchy and decided, and these individuals were all the way from a field worker who mowed grass, who assisted an autistic kid, to the
keep from running out
the gentleman who runs, basically manages all our water at the natatorium from the start, to a bus driver, just neat folks who just don't get recognized.
Yeah, I love that.
And they get awarded that.
We're all about that here. We just got through with a couple of programs where there are so many awesome things that go on within our 3 communities that nobody knows about, and so we're really trying to shine the light on that with this podcast and with this channel, and nothing brings more pleasure to us than to be able to recognize, first of all, clubs like yourself, who, I'm not going to say you're under the radar, but you're not on TV every day, right? You're doing a lot of things, and a lot of people don't know about it, but there's a lot of benefit that derives from it.
Right. And we just gotten started. I will go ahead and kind of backtrack a little bit. Is there are opportunities to support us. We do extensive fundraising, and these are expensive. Now, we do have a sponsor this year. One of our members is in a law firm, and he's sponsoring, because we didn't want to get out of the GRCC. We were having 20, 30 people.
Yeah, when everybody brings their family.
And so we talked about possibly limiting the number of guests, cutting back on the award, and he goes, no, our law firm will pay and sponsor your annual luncheons for that. So that allows us to put what we had funded in back into students. So we may revisit the scholarship fund and raise it to $15,000 or something. So we already allocate our budget, and as we get graced with sponsorships, we put it back into where we can address or help some students.
Yeah.
I just got home a minute ago. My front porch was full of school supplies. For one of the my wife goes, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, we ordered school supplies, and they have to be received somewhere. So my truck's full of school supplies right now that the school needed it."
Yeah.
And so, let me talk about the Labor Day Parade. That's kind of, that's it. I've created teams as president, so I'm the team leader for Labor Day Parade. It's been going on for quite a while. We took over. I just become a member, and the Lions, I think, were folding, and so we JCs were folding, so we took it over. The city loves that it's not. People
they don't have to coordinate.
Yeah, they think it's a garden parade. We call it the Exchange Labor Day Parade. It is huge. It's a great coordination, great effort to highlight our community. It's really our school district because about the 80 floats or so, over half of those are youth teams that just love to come out. We have our high school fine arts programs from the schools come out. We did get to go back on the square this year. So the city manager did give us bleachers, so it kind of had a little bit of the Rose Bowl parade feel.
That's nice.
We added VIP with our dignitaries from the school district and the city, as to kind of see that they get to sit for breakfast together. We sponsor a breakfast. I got a member who sponsors a breakfast for that. There is sponsorship opportunities for that. That's on the website. One of our members will solicit T-shirts, sponsorships, because we don't call that a fundraiser. We call it community service, but it does cost us to do that.
Mm-hmm. What's your website, by the way?
Noon Exchange Club of Garland. .org. So it's on there. Registration's on there. I'll put a link on there for sponsorship.
And companies can reach out, like if Planet Ford wants to put a big truck in it, they can also sponsor to basically be in the parade.
It's $20.
There's a minimal $30 for nonprofit, $40. We don't make any money on that.
Right.
This is just to kind of keep it honest. And so
and it's just processing everything is a minimal fee.
Yeah, we try to break even on the parade. But sponsorships will help tremendously.
Okay. And how long is your parade route?
It's just under a mile and a half. It's very, very short.
Okay.
It goes up from Glenbrook, Avenue D.
Right there where the dog park is, there behind at the back end of Central Park, up Glenbrook.
And then we make a right onto Main Street, circle the square, and then it exits. Probably about 5,000 people come out for it.
It's a big crowd.
It's a big crowd to come out for it. This year, Crime Stoppers will have. We used to have a car show, but the square got reconfigured. So Crime Stoppers will do a car show afterward. I think
they're at the Baptist Church parking lot, First Baptist parking lot. And the Labor Day Parade, it's the oldest continuously run Labor Day Parade west of the Mississippi, because it had been done by the JCs forever. And this is almost 15 years now that the Noon Exchange has taken over the sponsorship of it, and it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of work, but like I said, we do about what I started, because in my old days of first joining the club, they always say 5% do 90% of the work. I can honestly say every member has their hands in the program.
Oh yeah.
Or they will get pulled in and be told. and we alternate them, or they get into the program they love. And so I've had some from last year going, don't get me off the youth program, because we love scoring those essays. We love meeting with the kids. So everybody's engaged in some way. Something I started this year, because it was the last pillar, we call them pillars, is community service. And so that's kind of hard to define. And so what I saw was that we start the year with our Labor Day Parade, and then we start kind of shopping and raising money for our Christmas party. And there was kind of this nothing after that. And so in the spring, we had a monthly community service project. Some we partnered with other organizations. We went out to the dog shelter and cleaned up their dog trail, and we're maintaining that. We're partnering with Trusted World on doing a day out there. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to partner with the NAACP on their big back to school rally and just provide some support. We
That's at Lakeview Centennial, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. South Garland, I believe.
South Garland?
South Garland. At the same time, yeah. South Garland.
The back to school.
Back to school with the NAACP, I do believe, is at Lakeview. And then the Tyrese Maxey, his basketball camp will be back
South Garland.
But we have a lot of members who are involved in other organizations. And my wife and I, who's also a member, are big at the dog shelter. So we volunteer. We ask our members to come out there. We have some that are very active in other churches, organizations. So we just spread our community service love.
Like one of our members is like 85 years old, but every year when we're out putting out flags for the parade route, he's there just driving the stakes and helping to put out the flags for the whole route, picking them back up at the end. So we're young and old. I mean, we will have grandkids of some of our members all the way up to, in the mid 80s out there, doing stuff.
Well, Jamie will find it interesting. I just created a directory because we've had so many new members. One of our members goes, "You keep saying this name is Zach. I have no idea who Zach is." And so he's kind of a silent member. He just came in as Edward D. Jones over at the Chase Bank.
Sure.
Nice guy. And wants to do work. He just won't come to lunch. So I created a directory. And making that directory like 2 days ago, first I realized the mass diversity in professions. I mean, we have just attorneys and CEOs, and we have one, I love her. She goes, "Stay home, grandma." And she's, we have retired, we have construction workers or construction owners. But what kind of
Retired SROs.
Retired SROs,
Yes.
myself, retired administrator, was probably 80% of our club joined from 2020 on. It was a very young club. Clubs are aging out. We just came from nationals, and I asked one of our members today, I said, "What do you think the average age was?" And he goes, "Probably 69 or 70. And they were all had the same challenge. They're aging out.
If you figured that part out, the passing of the torch, if you will, the keeping the youth involved, so you don't go by the wayside as some of the really in the 60s and 70s. I had 6 or 7 wonderful service clubs in Garland, and now we're down to a
2 or 3.
couple,
Right.
couple,
And-
2 or
and-
3.
and
But
Exchange-
Exchange Club has been able to survive it by keeping the youth.
Because there is an Excel
Keeping youth
program,
going.
which is the youth program that are typically at the high school campus level.
And we're actually in this push. I was going to talk to you afterward too about LinkedIn. We're in this paradigm shift of let's think of the future. Let's think of your age group. And so actually one of the teams I created is a marketing team. And my wife's a team leader. Doesn't want to be a team leader. She's a team leader for that. And she's going to take on Instagram. I'm going to take on LinkedIn. We're going to take on different social media.
Yeah,
Parts.
LinkedIn's my favorite.
Right. So I'm going to. So last year we kind of shifted our thought process. We moved venues, because I'll go ahead and say this: we had become Exchange was a lunch club that did some community service, and Jamie's kind of nodding his head. We kind of existed that way. Now we are a service club that meets for lunch 3 times a month or breakfast to talk about community service. And so it seems like we meet a lot because we went to nationals and clubs are like meeting 1 time a month. But like today's speaker was our coordinator for volunteering in Garland School District. And everybody left there almost committed. Where are you going to help? What school are you signing up for? Here's your volunteer background check. We're going to adopt a school. It's almost not a choice. It's the energy was there that they walked out. I want to be part of something in GISD. And then we have, we're going to have the mayors in. So everybody, our speakers are all dynamic, and they bring something to us that we can partner with. What I was going to say about the membership too is, so we're reaching out. We switched the format. We knew there was members who traditionally, even though our title is Noon Exchange, that can't break away from noon. So the first Wednesday of the month is our breakfast. There used to be a breakfast club that folded, but it's breakfast. We meet at IHOP at 7:30. We have about 15 folks come in, and we talk about community service project. It doesn't have a format like a speaker, and we share dialogue. We network, and then we move forward with it. And that was kind of experiment, and it really ignited some folks.
Because there's 4 or 5 people that they can't break away in the middle of the day, because typically from a noon lunch standpoint, because we start straight up at noon and we're over at 1, you could say come early and visit, stay late and visit, but the meeting itself is from noon to 1 period. But not everybody, especially young professionals, they can't take an hour off, to get off, drive to wherever it is, have the 1 hour, and then drive back. That's typically kills 3 hours. Not everybody can have the flexibility in their work schedule, so we created the breakfast one, and there's 4 or 5 people that they can come on the way, because we meet at 7:30 in the morning, on the way to the office, and it doesn't interfere with their work day. So
we have also like 4 members who are paid through their business, 3 banks, and then Edward Jones, I believe. And so I've met with all of those, and they apologize that they run their own business. They can't break away. I mean, Jamie knows that from a bank.
Absolutely.
But I've met with them. I said, wait, go ahead and send somebody to represent your bank. You appreciate the full membership, and you get a meal allocation every week. And so they're going to start sending somebody who deserves to go, and they can come back and tell the club or the organization, their church, or their business this is what exchange is doing, and take advantage. So
that's a really good idea. There was a time when I'll just pick on the banks. There was a time when every bank in Garland, of course, they were locally owned, and every bank president was also the head of something else, whether it's a charity or a school board or a
Community
city
involvement.
council or whatever. The banks were very involved, and anybody that ever wanted to raise money, you just called one of the bankers. They put together a group and they help you with a fundraiser. Well, those things have changed. The whole banking system has changed. Business world has changed. A lot of the people that used to be in Garland that own their own business have either sold or maybe passed on down generations. New ownership has come in. They don't necessarily live in Garland anymore, so they're not as involved. It has become, in my opinion, more and more difficult to raise money in Garland, Rowlett, and Sachse than it's ever been, just because there's fewer of the companies that are prominent and involved in the community like they used to be.
Right.
So why don't you talk a little bit about, your funding and kind of how y'all are able to do what you do?
Well, we realized that I don't know how long we've had a bingo account as a nonprofit.
About 15.
About 15 years.
Yeah.
And we're down some this year, but we are exist where we can fund our balance. We did table our I won't say what our total is because we're going to have to cut some programs. We decided not to do that. And so we meet again in 2 weeks. But what has transpired since our last board meeting is sponsorship opportunities. Because just like I'll say Doug, our one of our members who's an attorney, he saw that he's on the board. He saw that he goes, well, let me just sponsor all the luncheons. And so there's opportunities out there. Maybe we can find a sponsorship for one of the scholarships. That's just money we're going to put back into our youth or our community in some form. So if we're giving $2,000 to the dog shelter, we'll give $3,000. It's going to go back into the budget. I will tell you the children's Christmas party itself, we budget $40,000 for it.
Regardless of getting
Right.
outside money. Yes, and y'all would tell us all about it, but last year was the first year I really knew about it. So the dealership sponsored a table, and then Encore Recyclers sponsored a table. 3 tables. So that's the whole point of kind of doing this podcast is there are so many businesses that want to get involved and they just don't know about it. And it was one of the coolest events I've ever been to.
Oh, you got to go to it?
Yes.
Last year was the first time that we really, outside of our Walmart, because Javier has been reaching out and working with Walmarts, 5 or 6 of them around us for the last 7 or 8 years, getting grants and stuff from them, and that's been a big help. But we still always, fund the lion's share of it.
So many people ask Walmart. They just open their email and click, and they just give it away.
Yeah.
But in working with you on a number of other projects over the last several years, that's when we started thinking about, can we hit, go to, more corporate sponsorships. And year before last, before school started, we had gone to the Tyrese Maxey Foundation had done their back to school event out in front of Kroger that year because we were just coming out of COVID and everything. And my wife, that sits on the school board there with Jamie, had got to talk with Denise Maxey, and she just thought that was just the coolest thing, talking about the kids' Christmas. And at first, we were talking about some food items and stuff, but they ended up just writing a sizable check. Well, this last year we started much earlier. We started May of last year working on the kids' Christmas for this past Christmas. And the Tyrese Maxey Foundation, because of his partnership with New Balance, gave all 367 kids a brand new pair of tennis shoes, along with what the club gets, $100 worth of gifts for each one of these kids. Because the district, we work with the counselors, and they give us 6 to 8 kids per campus, and that's back when we still had 47.
And it's all the elementary schools?
All 47.
So the way it works is we fund $40,000, kind of work from this, and then we work with the school district. I will, Jamie and I know some of the old individuals. One that passed away founded the club. A year before he passed, he told me, I got a vision to service every elementary school in the district. At the right time, we were doing like 12.
Right.
And I thought, we have to Hella Temple. And, I chaired the program, and we'd raise some money. Just logistically, it was huge.
Like 12 or 14 schools.
Yeah, 14. And I said, I don't know how. He goes, we can do it. I know we can do it. And I thought, well, plan A is keep the same. Plan B is the only facility we have in Garland is the arena. And I guess we go that route. And, we just, things occurred. And we got very fortunate. The school district allowed us to use the arena. And we raised additional funds. And then logistically went literally from 100, we tripled the program within 1 year.
Right.
And it was scary. And we fumbled through it. But even if you saw, you thought it went on for that way forever. What you got to see was the third year in the arena. That was just the third year we did it.
Right.
And
Sheena, you went last year?
Yes.
So you've witnessed it.
Yes.
So how polished. So I'll talk a little bit about it. So I just kind of get chills when I talk at the Christmas party because we include a village, really. There's probably over 200, close to 300 high school kids that put their hands on this Christmas party some way. So what we start with, obviously, with these counselors, they identify, they'll get notified here the week after school, 8 kids that they get to, they got a month and a half to figure out 8 kids on their campus, 8 to 10, we don't break up siblings, who would probably not have a Christmas. I know it's a little early to think about it, but they start knowing these kids. They already know these hardships. And so they get this form and they start calling kids in by early October and fill this form out. And it's very generic, ethnicity and grade, size. If you had a toy, what would you wish? Those
Or like a character, if they like Batman or
Yeah.
Barbie.
A book.
So they
or
fill it
whatever.
out. So we used to send them
Favorite
home. I tell them,
colors.
don't interview the kid. And then they give us these forms. We collect 368 of them. And so the kids really have forgotten anything. Okay, that's the beauty of this. You get called in probably September, October, and so hey, what would you like? I'd like this. So you have no knowledge. You've forgotten about it. So now everything else starts in the background. So now I get 5 drill teams. I contact 5 different Walmarts. We get these forms. Club members create these bags, and we go out shopping.
That list that the kids fill out
Yeah.
early in the year, we get those back and we tape them to the bags to where when they go shopping.
So we have these drill teams that come after school. They got about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours to shop for 2 kids. We put all these toys in up to $100, and if it doesn't ring $100, we send them back to go get $100. Can go a few dollars later over. We collect them all. The school district has let me borrow a van when it opens. I used to have to rent a U-Haul forever. And one time we just threw it in the back of our truck, honestly. Now it's so big that I have to use a cargo truck.
When we first started, we did the shopping and we threw it in the back of my truck.
Right. It's gotten so
That's how
big.
long this has been going on.
So we do 5 days of that. Luckily, my friend who runs one of the school's alternative education center that used to be a Food Lion lets us store all these bags at
in
the
an
back.
open storeroom.
And talking about students, right there, we get those kids who've been assigned at-risk kids helping us. And they get to ask what's going on. I get to talk to them. Again, all these probably 300 drill team girls have got to, I made the mistake 2 years ago of having them write a card in there. And they wrote and cried and wrote. And I just, okay, we're not going to do that part. Because I wanted a thank you card saying, hi, I'm so-and-so, I shop for you. It took a life of its own. So I had to stop that.
Right.
So then the day before the event, I get the biggest U-Haul I can. We go to North Garland High School. We back it up to the cafeteria doors. We probably have 200 high school kids. We did have leadership.
If we have a full contingent, about 200 girls.
We also had about 40 of the Leadership Garland alumni, and all those bags are opened and gift wrapped and closed back again. So that's
If we have a full contingent of people, volunteers that night, they'll wrap 3,500 to 3,600 individual gifts in 2.5 hours.
so just the energy in that cafeteria is
The
phenomenal.
capacity of all
Right.
that.
It's amazing.
So you think we
I'm going to bring mine by and let them rent mine.
we tell them just
It ain't got to be pretty.
so then they get bagged up in the U-Haul. It gets backed up at the transportation center. Gets locked up because there's $40,000 worth of gifts in there, and all the students get field tripped by their schools. Some of them double up, so it's really interesting. If you got to be guys up front, what happened last year was phenomenal, and none of it's choreographed. And that's what's so neat is that the schools all figure out how to get their kids in. And so the kids have been, because I'll meet them outside, and Daphne does that too. Why are you here? I was good. I'm gonna meet. Nobody has ever said, because back September I filled the wish list out and I want my toys.
They'll get a picture with Santa as they come in
And
a
the
group.
Grinch.
And then Daphne and I typically are at the entrance doors to go down the ramp down to the floor level there at the Curtis Cole Center, and we'll say, "Oh, are you here for a party or for the tour?" The tour.
Yeah.
They're looking around like, "What are you talking about?"
We added the Santa outside, And that was literally 2 days before our Santa, Gary, had kind of aged out. He just said, look, I'm weak. I've been Santa for 20 years. So one of our elementary school principals
from Caldwell
got her husband a phenomenal Santa. I added some blow-up figures. Theater kids from Lakeview, they took a life of their own.
Yes.
I mean, golly,
And did you do lunch for the kids?
Yes.
Yeah, so they all got lunch. And
student service.
And for
food services.
companies watching what we did last year, and we'll get more involved this year, is basically, there's a table with those kids from that school, and then they have a counselor, teacher, representative that stays with them. And if you sponsor, one or two from your company would come attend, and you can, sit at that table or sit in the distance. And obviously with the school district, like you're not taking pictures. It's just experiencing.
You do the background check.
Yeah.
You're not allowed in the arena without
background
the background check.
ID to get in. Everything's very
Go
tight.
through the Raptor system.
But it's more about experiencing the event while you're there, and those funds go back to make this happen. But to see, all the kids are there. There's all these performances, music, Santa, the Grinch, and then they're like, okay. And then the volunteers, get up and any companies, and you go and get this bag, and you know what table you're going to, and then they just start ripping all the toys out and unwrapping them, and then their faces. And the one thing I remember, there's this little kid who was like 7. Puts everything back in his bag, and it's like the size of like Santa's bag, and just goes, and then he's little, just like walking out of the Caldwell Center with all his toys. And
there's
so many great stories like that. I had one occasion to sit at a table, and one of the little girls who was opening up her presents didn't open one.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? Open your presents? She goes, no, I'm saving that for my little brother.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay.
2 years ago, we had Lakeview's one of our.
I had to leave the room for a minute because it was just, you can't help but get emotional at the heart of some of these kids.
We don't know how many adults and students it touches. About 2 years ago, we were shopping. It was Lakeview's turn. And this little girl didn't get picked up. She goes, no, can I talk to you? She goes, I was a recipient when I was in 3rd grade of this program. And we had a house fire and we were living on the couch. And the counselor called me in, and she goes, I would have had, she was crying. And she goes, can I give you some? I said, no. She goes, I'm just shopping. And at that time, Lakeview didn't perform. They got to perform this last year. And she just kind of went on and how it affected her. And right when I first joined the club, had a small contingent, and I look over and some drill team girls are crying, and one of the moms at some event pulled me over. She goes, my daughter just wouldn't, this high school girl, talking about just the impact it had on their heart. And that's why I couldn't get the cards anymore, because when I had them, I thought it'd be an idea to. They just opened up on these deals.
No, it's such a wonderful event, and any event where you're involved with kids and helping kids, you can't help but have it tug at your heart a little bit, and it is so easy to walk away from there inspired to go do more.
Right.
So for those who haven't had the opportunity to be inside of the Caldwell Center. When this happens, I mean, I can just assure you it is a magical place. And you just gave me an idea. You mentioned that you had some blow-ups or something.
Yeah, the characters.
I have a client who, if you look at the bottom of your blow-ups, it's probably
made them.
He made them. They're made in Hong
And that was
Kong,
just
actually.
you were some magical. They laughed
But
at me.
you just gave me the idea of somebody that I'm going to call that maybe could be a sponsor for some more magical type of blow up things for this event, and I'm pretty sure he'd be
That's
more
awesome.
than happy.
I use the word magic too much. Again, as I said, none of it's choreographed. Even the 2 performing groups don't perform together. But from the time you drove up, you thought these kids, theater kids, and were already they pre-planned it. The drill team's supposed to alternate out. Those 5, 6 girls didn't want to leave. They met every group. When they get down the tunnel, there's a procession. So everything just kind of flows,
Right.
and I think we're just blessed that way. And then every year, the Maxey Foundation. Last year, 2 years ago, we bought breakfast. The club did for the performers. Well, the coordinator, assistant director for nutritional services came over, delivered the food. It was the cheapest place to buy. It was our school district. Great breakfast. And she goes, "What is this?" And she goes, "I'll get back with you." She came back a month later. She goes, "We're getting breakfast. We're getting lunch for all these kids. We had never offered that." And it's like, what?
Because they've got access to the kids if they got allergies, whatever, so they can pre-plan.
And she came in character this year, and she was just
great.
great. And she goes, "Wait till next year. We make it bigger next year."
I love
and the
that.
drill teams met and they go, wait till next year. So it just continues to grow. We couldn't do this without our funding, with our sponsorships. Again, you mentioned that you can adopt a school. You can say, hey, maybe
How much is it for the table or a school?
$1,000 a table.
Okay.
And that's the cost that we have for gifts. It's not like we're making any money off of that.
And I got to talk to them, but I know for sure we have one table down for Planet Ford 635 already. So you can check that off the list.
I can pull the bags, and you can actually shop for that school.
Cool.
On a particular one of those shopping days, you can sit with those. So actually, as the kids open that, you can say, I got that gift for you. You get sponsorship on the Jumbotron. You get, my wife is the MC. You'll get the shout out through that.
And 3 years ago, when we first started going to the Curtis Cultural Center, was the first time my wife had actually participated with the kids' Christmas. And a little 5 or 6 year old kid come up to her, and she goes, "I never had a Christmas."
No.
Yeah.
We can go on.
I know.
We've had kids holding a pair of shoes and go, "Sweet, you got more?" Because I've never had a
New pair of
new
shoes.
pair of shoes. It really just kind of goes on. It's a phenomenal. That's our big event that
And I think a lot of our members stay members because of Kids Christmas.
So they're miracle workers too.
Yes, and then y'all
at the event I was at 3 years ago, the first one at Colwell Center, one of the girls at my table didn't have a bag, and I think I can't remember who I told.
and we don't
about
know
it,
how that happened.
but
It was
within
but
less than a minute, there was a bag that had been put together for this child.
We buy
And
extras
It was a miracle,
just in case.
Just
we've also have mixed the gender.
Right.
Somehow got mixed. I think we've had where we can't figure out a bag.
What I'm saying is, they make this stuff happen. Sometimes it's on the fly
with magic.
Yeah.
With 200 and 300
Christmas
kids.
magic.
It's
Oh,
really,
gosh, yeah.
I mean,
It's
how many
happened-
kids are you serving? this year?
368 last year.
368 kids, as you can tell. It's pretty much a zoo
It
when you have 368 elementary
And
school
one of the
kids.
things that happened this last year because of some stuff that's going on within the district, they've started combining schools because they're tearing down and rebuilding schools. We wasn't going to shortchange because 2 schools became
Merged.
1. We still got from the original campuses
Yeah.
the number of kids from each one of those campuses, even though they were currently being housed under the same roof. So that way, we still took care of all of our kids.
Right. He said it right. That's what pulled me into the club. I got invited, and then we had 10 schools maybe. We used to partner with one of the Rotary clubs.
It started off because we were limited.
Yeah, and I thought, well, this is a great club. And I stayed in, and we just then they kind of pointed at me to take over it, and it just kind of continued to grow. We added entertainment, and the entertainment's been phenomenal. Those kids, I go visit with it's Rowlett High School Choir, so he knows I'm going to visit him, and he smiled this last year. He goes, we were just talking, our kids went last year already choreographing for this coming year. And then we switched the drill teams to Lakeview, and they pulled me aside later going, okay, we're going to make it bigger next year. And we don't offer, we'll sponsor something that they need. Usually it's a program ad or something.
Awesome.
We did get one of our high schools some uniforms for costumes because
For a competition event that they had.
yeah, they opened up their school and they were going to perform. So they added a contest to their spring, and so she goes, "Could you buy our costumes?" I said, well, so because of the sponsorships,
We were able
to move some money around, and it was $2,600, and it was no big deal to us because that's more than somebody donated. So any donor out there, we don't make money off we redistribute it back into our budget to serve our kids. And so, we halfway through the year, if we're doing well, we find more ways for other programs.
And y'all do snacks.
Well, we do snacks for the 9th Street
For the boxing gym.
But we're also, because of some of the stuff that we do, we're able to participate with the exhibitions that the 9th Street Boxing Gym has done the last 2 years. So, it's not just the stuff that we do individually within our basically 4 walls, so to speak, but we do stuff. We do partner with other nonprofits in the community as well.
And this sponsorship or of a school, adopting a school, we don't know what that looks like. We just kind of thought today about it. We've been giving school supplies out to different organizations, and we've been sponsoring summer camps, backpacks, school supplies. But the idea of actually kind of just adopting a school, all the way from, because I spoke up to all the way from making it beautiful up front. Let's make it, as I said, our maintenance department will come and mow, clean it, but they don't plant flowers. They don't put pots out. And then I got to thinking, well, then let's adopt every teacher. and let's see how they can come back.
Sure.
Let's welcome their back to school luncheon. Let's have a supply closet. So all those funds that we can offset somewhere else will help that. One of the other programs is our Americanism. One of our new members is actually a veteran. And so I met with him yesterday because he's team leader. Every team leader gets a little talk with me. And so we're going to have a culture of Americanism throughout the year. We already do some programs like Proudly We Hail, which is we find a citizen in Garland who proudly displays a flag. And Jimmy will giggle at this. Gilbert Reed. Phil Gilbreth. I'm sorry, Phil Gilbreth.
Phil Gilbreth.
Who the Gilbert Reed is named after. I was driving on Glenbrook, so I was a man with a cut-off T-shirt looking at a flagpole. I go, there's a story there. So I parked, and I go, Phil, I've known Phil for a long time. And he goes, am I displaying it properly? So we talked about the lighting. And so we honored him, and he broke down crying.
He brought stuff that he had collected over the last 50 years to the event where he was recognized by the club. He brought it and did kind of a history lesson.
Everybody, if you see a flag somewhere, there's a story. And so we're probably going to do that every month and a half or so and recognize a citizen in Garland who displays a flag, and they're going to tell us what their story is behind it. We do You Make a Difference. Every other month, one of our members does a first responder recognition, somebody who's done something phenomenal. We've had all the way from officers, SWAT, firemen,
K9,
911 ladies who do the 911 thing. Somebody walks somebody through CPR, and we recognize them at a luncheon. And then obviously our display of flags. For the parade, the day before, we'll display a couple of hundred flags all the way down Brook and on the square. We displayed them at red, white, and blue. Right now, we've got, I think, 4 schools, JIC schools, that are going to have a veterans program. We just talked about possibly doing a HBJ football game,
Right.
Veterans Day that week,
Right.
and it's Sachse, Rowlett, and having them both come out
with flags.
And then having some kind of jumbotron presentation.
Because especially with this next year, it's going to be 250 years, our country 250 years old. We're working on the Americanism side of things, that we're looking at possibly doing a field of honor, working with our VFW and veterans about displaying a 26 flags? 26 or 27?
There's 26 or 27 different American flags in the history.
From
cool.
the
Now,
Betsy Ross
we don't
till today.
charge, but there is opportunity to have a business donation, and we'll go. They're displayed on a pole, and so we can display flags at a business for some kind of sponsorship.
Because one of the, like this year after the Labor Day parade, the following weekend, because Labor Day being September 1st, that Monday, that following weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, one of our other partners that we do partner with and corporate sponsors, Caliber Car Wash out in Rowlett.
You just read my mind.
They're going when they first opened up, we had a firefighter that was not doing so well, and they were doing a fundraiser for him out there, and he had called and said, hey, can you display some of your flags? So I put about 45 flags out there, and it got rained out that first weekend, came back, they did it the following weekend, and I told him, I said, well, just hold on, because they were fixing to do the 9th Street Boxing Gym or something, and then the club, we ended up gifting them the flags, because they started doing, when they work with a nonprofit once a month, and they're working with us in September, that 5th, 6th, and 7th. But they'll display the flags out there
Right after the parade. It's that weekend, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but they've been displayed all the time.
But y'all's fundraiser is the one right after the
September
parade.
5th.
We just
6th,
gave them the flags. We also donated flags to Brookdale Senior Living. They got a lot of veterans out there.
Because they had bought like 85 flags from us 5 or 6 years ago, and a lot of them, because they leave them out much longer than what we do, and they had deteriorated, and asked if we could rehab them. So we had rehabbed them, and then I think we gave them another 15 on top of that to order, and they were out there displaying them as we were rehabbing them for Flag Day or Veterans Day?
One of those. But again, we don't charge. But if there's a business that wants to support the club, knowing that the funds will just be reallocated, we'll display at your business. I know there's other organizations that go out and solicit and go, we'll put a flag for a certain amount of money or something. We do it for the love of Americanism and community service.
So the patriotism of the Exchange Club, I mean, there's few that match their enthusiasm for it. Here's some history you may not know, but back in the day, the early 80s, one of the first projects the Exchange Club ever did was to put flagpoles at Eastern Hills. And
They're
every
still up.
Wednesday when we met, they flew the Exchange Club flag for us. But we donated those flagpoles and the flags for Eastern Hills Country Club back when it was
Still
a
Eastern
country
Hills
club.
Club. But the flag, everything else, the trees and everything else have
Knocked
been
down,
demolished.
everything but
but
the
the flagpoles
flagpoles.
are still there. But also this year, and this was just happened at National, we just got back from our national convention. Exchange Club National has partnered with Tunnels to Towers.
Oh. Yeah.
Tunnels to Towers. So they're one of our big national sponsors, and we started doing stuff with them as well. So
we're planning
speaking of the Americanism.
something big in the spring to celebrate the 250th anniversary. We'll talk to the city when we made the display at Audubon Park. We'll do something.
Yeah.
Audubon, Central Park, something. Because there used to be the Vietnam Memorial there at Central Park, right in front of the Granger Center. So we'll find a place large enough, but hopefully, we'll do a field of honor along with this special program.
2 or 3 years ago, when the Vietnam Memorial came through town, remember that we
Right.
displayed about 200 flags out there.
That's awesome.
I had a local high school football team do that for us. And then what was neat about that, they came out and they got a history lesson because the whole trailer was there. They couldn't come out to bring him down. You weren't around. The community came out, and people were out watching us do this. Can we help you? Can we help you? At home families, because you got to roll them back up, bring the rebar out, put them back in the trailer. And we had them down in an hour just with volunteers who are either walking the trail or were looking at the display. So it goes back to what Jamie said. The Americanism just really elevated in the community. It's really there. We see a lot of folks take pictures at the parade in front of those flags. If we lose one, we just say, "Hey, proudly, somebody needed a flag so bad that they took a flag."
Because exactly that right there, we'll put out 150 plus flags for the Labor Day parade, and as soon as the parade is over, those of us that are at the front, we already start circling
Picking
back,
them all
picking
up.
them back
And
up.
we'll have like
4 or 5 will be gone. Somebody
You know what? That's
neither
fine.
wanted a flag.
That's fine.
No big deal.
No
Yeah.
big deal. So it's
We wish they would have asked, and we'd have.
we just give it to them. So,
Well, y'all definitely deserve a pat on the back. I know. First of all, it's hard to keep an organization going as long as the Exchange Club has been going. I've been around long enough to see them come and go, and so you're to be congratulated for the foresight that you had to keep your club infused with youth. They're the ones with the energy.
Yeah.
The older we get, the less energy we have. And they also bring resources. So congratulations for y'all and your ability to kind of keep that going.
Yeah, and we'll at the end of this, we'll get the flyers obviously for the Labor Day parade, for Christmas. We'll put all those in there. And then, as Stephen mentioned, the Caliber Car Wash one in Rowlett. So on the 5th, basically, that 3-day weekend, anybody who's watching, you go out and get your car washed, and 50% of those funds will go back to Noon Exchange Club of Garland. So,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, they could raise $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 grand to go back, and that all helps with the kids'
So
Christmas.
they
and,
did a deal for Hope Clinic one weekend.
Yeah.
The first one that they did, I think they raised a little over 4,000 for KC. So it's a great thing. They're good corporate people.
Yes, phenomenal. So, but we appreciate you guys coming on, and any companies that want to sponsor, obviously, for Labor Day parade and the Christmas party, both of them. But Christmas, man, you've got to see it. So get involved and reach out to these two, and we appreciate you guys
and
coming on
Veterans Day
today.
in November. So
Yeah.
if you'd like a display of flags at your business, we'd probably go out there and do that too. Knowing that any donation, we won't even set a number on it, will go towards all our projects with youth and community.
Because we're constantly refurbing our flags, so they don't last forever. So that's what a lot of those donations, when we go out and post them up somewhere, if somebody wants to give us a contribution, it's put back into rehabbing our flags.
And I just retired from GISD last month, but Jamie has the school district has blessed us with allowing facility usage, allowing us to.
We just voted a measure that allows the Exchange Club to have it for their Christmas.
Right. And it's not a
party
cheap
again.
venue. It is.
No.
If you've been there, it's knockout. And
But you serve our kids.
Right.
And it's
a great
It's
partnership.
a perfect match for
Right.
what we do.
And-
Let me have one last word. I was born on September 6th, which was Labor Day. the year I was born. So I've been telling everybody for 68 years that y'all have a parade on my birthday. So it's the Jamie Miller Labor Day
Labor Day.
parade.
We'll rebrand it. So.
Yeah. But thank y'all for what you do. We
thank
can't
you.
thank you enough.
Appreciate
Okay.
the opportunity to be here with y'all.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.